We are living in more and more of a digital world. Digital navigation, digital entertainment, even digital lifestyles. And I think that's why I've got such a great appreciation for a more analog experience. Earlier this year, I got to join one of the legends of adventure motorcycling, Mr. Austin Vince, for an event he has dubbed the Apprentice VINCE, the very interesting navigation challenge event. 5 days of dirt biking and orienteering in the Spanish mountains. And Honda very kindly lent me an Africa Twin for it. This is a team event, so I didn't go alone. I took Bob and Del from the machine shop with me. Bob is a very experienced track rider. Del has hundreds of hours of trail riding under his belt. And my bike looks the way it does because I know enough about riding off-road to never tell people that I know how to ride off-road, which is why I was very happy that this event comes with 2 days of training before you're given 3 days to go and practice your newfound skills in the beautiful Spanish countryside. Here's how we got on at the Apprentice VINCE. I'm about to set off for the VINCE. The bike's ready and we're good to go. However, Del has just broken down on the M40 and is having to return his van and possibly take the bike down or possibly get an alternative vehicle. And Bob is busy setting up a MotoGP. And the only reason I'm not helping him set up is I'm about to ride that to Spain. We're off to a good start. As I began to make my way through Normandy and engaged in some cultural activities, I realised I had neglected some of my studies.
Je suis en France. C'est très sympa. Un petit problème. Je ne parle français.
This had made ordering breakfast difficult, but I was willing to persevere for the international audience.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Guy Markham. Un homme adulte fétichiste de moto. Je monte actuellement ce cheval el moteur japonais. Se donne des orgasmes ressus sur bitume et gravier.
Fortunately, a lot of the local signage did have some form of infographic, which, while convenient, did make me question as to how respectful the country's other guests had been before me. Fortunately, I didn't have to embarrass myself in front of the locals for too long before crossing the Pyrenees to my final destination. Bob, Del and myself had travelled to Spain to meet up with Austin Vince. We were taking part in the Apprentice VINCE, the very interesting navigation challenge event. This event was Austin's own invention, a trail riding treasure hunt that came with all the training you needed to compete in it.
It's basically nothing apart from the fact that all over the map are the contour lines.
Austin was providing us with practical learning, real-world experience, translating the information on the map to the surroundings around it. And he was understandably very passionate about it.
The essence of the project is trying to connect with the shape of the ground. And we get the shape of the ground from interpreting the contour lines. So now the map's orientated. So up there is up there. We've just come from here. Everyone comfortable? Mm-hmm. Now then.
Although we had all read maps before, we were living in a world where everyone gets out their phone for the sat-nav for the most simple of journeys. This was like training an old muscle out of atrophy or relearning an old skill.
But once you start to develop that skill, it stops being a skill and actually becomes a superpower.
Under Austin's guidance, we started to make quick progress across the trails. We were able to stop and look at a map in 2 dimensions, but read it in 3.
But I always use the contour lines to make a stab at deciding when you're at that spot in terms of altitude, uphill, horizontal, downhill, okay?
Austin's superpower analogy wasn't entirely inaccurate. You had an expectation of the terrain you were about to cross, therefore almost a premonition of what you were going to do. And if it wasn't what you were expecting, you knew you'd made a mistake.
When we take that turning there, we're going to climb how many meters before we get to that junction, roughly?
That junction, 100?
Yeah, about 100. Yeah, about 100 meters. It's a 100-meter ascent.
With our skills refreshed, the first day's training seemed quite relaxed compared to what the second day had to offer. Day 2 came with our off-road training, with the brilliant Honda adventure instructors Pat and Adi.
Keep the weight off the front
Even though I live on a farm and have tackled a fair bit of dirt on my time, I would never say that I was a competent off-road rider, and I had never received any off-road training. I knew that Bob and Del were better than me, but what I didn't realise is quite how bad I actually was. Being rinsed around the beginner set by men twice my age was a little bit humbling. But by the end of the day I had learnt a lot and was feeling a lot more confident about our first day out hunting checkpoints. Austin has spent over a decade designing these events, setting up checkpoints across the Spanish wilderness for people to go and find. No phones, no sat-nav, just analog map reading skill. It was a lot of work, and this was just the practice version. As he was the best off-roader and the least confident map reader, we decided that Del Boy would be the navigational officer for the first day.
Oh, is that a bridge or a culvert? Sorry, they're culverts, aren't they, the red ones?
Under Del's guidance and Austin's book, we made our way to our first checkpoint. So that definitely
side of the track junction. That's definitely exactly where we're stood.
Although some of the checkpoints could be found on road signs or statue plinths, most of them were these little aluminium tags that Austin had spent the last decade pinning up in the woods. We filled in our first correct answer and set out for a positive day. Del Boy was already proving to be an excellent navigation officer.
Obviously this is the door. We'll have this done by dinner. Stand on the brake, turn round. Where's the map? Every single one of these checkpoints is an adventure. Hello. Just about to walk away, unsuccessful. Del Boy finds the tag.
Del Boy! What are you doing?
We came to a boulder, there's no motorbike like in the picture. It's 3 o'clock. I've got this, don't worry, follow me.
It had been a great day. The incredible scenery, the new way of interacting with our environment, having the excuse to go to places that we wouldn't have otherwise. With restored confidence, we returned to the hotel to set out an audacious route for the next day to score as many points as possible. But even with our newfound skills and careful planning, we had no idea how complicated the next day was going to be.
Should I help or film?
Should have stood up, should have binned it.
With Del back on his Tenere, Bob and I thought it would be a fun idea to swap bikes. We were both wrong. I'm not sure I like this. So it's my first day as navigator, and I thought we'd get the tough stuff out of the way early. So I've already jumped up over this on the little mountain goat on the CRF today. It did not go well. I needed a lot of help, and that's the lightest bike. So we're going to see how Del and Bob do with it, who are much more experienced than me. Should be fine. Should be fine. As he had more experience, I thought Bob would safely navigate the Africa Twin. I was wrong. We now had the heaviest bike we had stuck at the bottom of the ditch. We did find out later on that it turns out it's very easy to turn the traction control on and off with your elbow when you're trying to push the bike out of the ditch, which doesn't help. As with a lot of life's problems, if you can't find a skillful solution, brute force and ignorance will eventually do the trick. Eventually. With the bike moving again, I asked Bob what he thought about his first hour on the Twin. Thoughts?
I think there should be an adventure bike scale. Type 1, 2 and 3 adventure bikes.
What type's the Twin?
4.
So that was our exercise in Type 2 fun for the day. Fortunately, Del Boy, our expert off-roader, is going to show us all how it's done next. He got the furthest! Once we had made sure Del was okay, we checked in on the bike. It had taken us roughly an hour to travel 200 metres. On some days, we've had Austin or his buddy Pat with us to help us filming,
But today, it's just the three of us. So we have to set up our own cameras for everything. So while we've just got all these bikes up, we've also been trying to document it, which made it a little bit harder. Type 2 fun?
Type 2.
Type 2. Type 2.
We didn't know it yet, but things were about to get a lot worse. Bob and I had noticed a few warning signs that Del was getting a little confused.
I can't see that any bikes have been through here.
Well, we'll change that.
Oh, are we going right here?
Yes.
Oh, I was looking up there.
No, we're going on the trail.
We had been taking on water and even dunked ourselves in a stream. Del had not. While trying to navigate up a particularly difficult hill, Del Boy disappeared into the woods.
So while we were trying to navigate the Hell Hill, Del Boy went a little off-piste on his search for the alternative route. It's about half a kilometre off route.
With Del and his bike successfully recovered, we had to deal with the fact that he'd burnt his clutch out. Del, usually mechanically competent, was still dehydrated and confused. But fortunately, we had Bob.
Has Bob got some mechanical knowledge? Yep. That'll be all right then.
With the bike back on the trail and Del freshly rehydrated, we went to stare down at what we had conquered. It had taken us over 2 hours to cover 500 metres. We decided to pick up the pace.
Yeah, it might be a bit challenging up there.
The time lost meant cutting a huge chunk out of our route. Fortunately, we found a fire break that got us back down towards civilization. And we did get one little bonus.
If we got nothing else done today, we got 1 point, and that's what matters, getting points. All right, let's go.
We were back on the road again, until we weren't.
The Africa Twin, which was provided by Honda, I said to them I would try and bring it back dirty, but unbroken. I've not been able to keep to that. They know Austin, they knew what we were doing, so hopefully they'll appreciate the fact that I'm showing it being used properly.
And as a credit to the man who'd smiled through the whole thing, the mud on his Tenere, the cuts and bruises he had, nothing could stop Del's positive attitude.
How are you feeling?
Sore.
Good man. Battered and broken, we got to the day's final checkpoint, where Bob made an interesting discovery. At least, interesting to him.
The most fascinating thing I find about all of this that we see around us is they've managed to weld stainless steel to aluminium handrails. First of all, I've never seen aluminium handrails. So they've got aluminium handrail, but they've put it together with stainless steel rod, and you can see like the evidence of little bits of rust from the stainless steel being overheated or whatever. So that's aluminium. There's a streak of rust down the middle. It's wild. This bit's stainless, and they look like they've used the stainless steel stick welder and just like splattered it on there. I can't say it's worked too bad. It's totally wrong. I would never do it like that. But fair play.
Realising that our confidence had far outweighed our abilities, on day 5 we asked to be joined by expert Honda off-road instructor Adi.
Don't dump the clutch, let it out till you find the sweet spot.
Not only did he get Bob standing up on an adventure bike, but he got me and the 1100 Africa Twin through my least favourite thing, sand.
When you see your front wheel go into sand, you see the person in front of you wobbling, it's really hard to get
Go
through
into
it.
that mode.
Yeah, but when you get it right, you just surf.
That was lovely.
And the front's just, it'll waggle, but it doesn't tuck.
With our abilities catching up to our confidence and AD keen to have a day out having fun, we made our way to the mecca of Western film fans, Sad. It was the final day, the final checkpoint, and Del Boy was on the case. In this stunning location, a set built for one of the most iconic shootouts of film history, we had a chance at redemption. If we could find the date on a specific gravestone, we could score 5 points instead of 1. And if we did that, we wouldn't win, but we might not lose. And we were determined not to lose.
There's no date on it.
Well, fortunately, this was the Apprentice Vince, and therefore the points didn't matter. And we'd had plenty of practice to come back and do it properly next year. And, as we were at Sad Hill anyway, we got to do the thing.
What thing?
You know, the thing.
What thing?
Good, the bad, and the ugly. Have you not watched the film?
No, I've seen that bit that you showed me.
All right, well, we're going to go and do the thing. Come on, come on.
No.
No.
Pints.
Yes. In the end, we never found out what the other teams had scored. We just went back to the hotel and for the 6th night in a row, got incredibly drunk and ate amazing food and made new friends while telling stories about the day's adventures that we'd had. The three of us all agreed that this was one of the best things we'd ever done on a motorbike and that all of us would be back the following year with more people for next year's Apprentice VINCE. There are two types of people in this world, amigos. Those who have fun and those who don't.
That was the Apprentice VINCE, and it was so good that we are going back in May of 2026. We're taking a huge group from the machine shop back with us, and we would love to take you as well. If you're interested in signing up, it doesn't matter if you don't know how to ride off-road, if you don't know how to read a map. That's the whole point of this event, is to give you a set of skills and then give you a playground in which to practice them. The links are down there. That link will also take you to Austin's site where you can watch his films and understand exactly why this man is so highly respected in the world of adventure motorcycling. As for me, I've got merch. You can purchase that on my website. You can also sign up to the Patreon, which if you do, you'll get a 35% discount on all of this stuff. Other than that, I'll see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Ride safe, stay hydrated. Cheers.